Hi everyone, how you going?
Hey.
I'm here with my mate Brody and we're just talking about some things that are very, very interesting in the world at the moment. Most of you have probably been on a website at some point, and some of you may even have a website. But I've just showed Brody here how simple it is to have your own website and to manage it, and how cheap it actually is. We had a meeting with someone the other day and they were really excited to tell us that they could build our website, a simple 3-page website.
What was it cost? $7,000?
Seven grand, right? $7,000 is really nice. So if you're running a business, straight away you want a shop front. If you don't have a physical bricks and mortar shop front, your website is it. Sometimes you need both. So if you do have a website and hopefully you haven't spent a lot of money on it, there are cheaper ways to make that happen. I do a lot of work here in Australia in the music industry, and musicians, they're a business. They should be, they should have a website. So I was just talking to Brody and I showed him the process of doing that. So buying a domain name is as simple as logging into a GoDaddy or a TPP wholesaler. There's a few questions. You just answer the questions and you might end up paying $14 for a website, which will last you for a year. And then the next thing is you've got to get it hosted. And most of these packages these days can do everything for you. And they have a lot of support because they're in the business of selling websites, website names, not creating them. So creating them is something separate. So another thing that I was showing Broads here was the ease of use for anyone to operate a website if they use something like WordPress. WordPress is like a Facebook kind of thing. What do you got? Snippet, responsive website for £99. Totally. Does that give you your, so there's no other prefixes, it's your name? I'd be interested to know that. So buying a web name through like a Wix or something like that, which gives you a very basic layout. It gives you a simple layout. When you want to upgrade, it can cost you a little bit more. So yeah, that's cool. So that's, and there's so many people that just don't know this stuff. And this lady that was speaking to us about this website, and she was so excited. It's like, oh my God, it's only $7,000. Not a chance in hell that I'll be paying her any money. She clearly doesn't. Yeah, I guess some people do. It's as simple as that.
Maybe if you had a stronger stream of corporate funding, you wouldn't care so much. But, we're standard business people, so
yeah,
it's not feasible.
No, and it's dealing with musicians most of my day. It's that they are not highly funded corporate organisations. So, and having a good website is imperative to having a good crowd reach. We talk a lot about being a musician that sings and writes music. I'm a drummer, Brody plays guitar. If I write a beautiful song and I want the whole world to hear it, whether I charge them for it or I give it away for free, the second I want to give away that song or share that song, the music hat comes off, the business hat goes on. And in that business hat, there's marketing, there's networking, there's contracts, there's all sorts of stuff that you should know as a musician. But this particular talk right now is about websites. So website developing is really simple. And there are much easier ways and cheaper ways to make them unique to you. Don't think that you have to get something standard and just accept the fact that it's that's just where it is, and I can't put that picture there. I would like it to be there. I can't upload this file, or I can't upload this video.
The WordPress makes it relatively simple, doesn't it? I mean, you don't even really need to have a good understanding of HTML coding.
Don't need any.
And coding is, even if you are good at it, it's a little bit time consuming.
That's right. You've got to spend the time doing it, and instead of spending the time learning code, wouldn't it be better spending the time adjusting your website to make it look good?
I would think so. WordPress
is one option. There's a few other options, but we're talking about getting out of it without having to do much. We have a lot of websites, and they're all WordPress, and they're all really clean, and they're easy to understand, and there's so many plugins available. And we're not a multinational. At the start of this conversation, a little bit in, we talked about we're not a multi-billion-dollar organisation, so we don't have someone that we can pay to build us a non-WordPress site. But you know what? Most people that visit our websites would have no idea what the hell a WordPress site is and can't tell by looking.
The end result is what this is about. You know, the actual process of achieving that is not as important as long as it's cost effective and time effective.
Yeah. Yeah. So apart from WordPress, there's a couple of others that have come and gone. WordPress seemed to stick around quite a bit. What other ones that? So if WordPress is awful, what's the compared option for that?
I mean, I've used things like Dreamweaver before.
Yeah.
That's another option.
Yeah. Or Front Page.
Okay, yeah.
Front Page, man. So go back to Windows 95. Front Page is a very Word. It's like a Word platform, but NetBeans.
So, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Cool. I haven't looked into that one much, but
So
I'll
that's
check it out.
Java related.
Okay. So if it's Java, does it work on smartphones and tablets?
I think so.
Okay. Not just Java. Okay, cool. So, you know, and I guess your name is, I'm not sure, it's @-0000000. So, you know, you understand the frustration, I guess, because it's so many people are getting websites built. And, you know, you might pay $2,000 to have someone build it for you, and I think that's fair because it's knowledge versus time. But $7,000, oh my God, that is ridiculous. I just met with a guy the other day, and we're trying to do a deal with him because he owns a scooter company. He builds and manufactures scooters, and he wants his website was pretty average. And I said to him, well, mate, how about you give us a scooter, $1,700 worth of scooter, and I'll build and I'll maintain and I'll show you how to add things to it, and I won't charge you a cent. Let's just swap. So the thing is, he said, no, I can't because I'm already locked in with this other organisation. At $300 a month, he's paying indefinitely. For as long as he has a website, he's paying $300 a month, which is ridiculous. So, you know, and just wouldn't have to, it just frustrates me that people have conned this poor little guy in to this. Maybe he didn't trust me. I'm just some guy off the streets with a few tattoos buying a scooter. What would I know? But our 20 or so websites that we have would prove different if he had the chance to look. You know, I think for him, it was very much he's made his decision to go with this guy, and he could have pulled out at any point, but he didn't want to upset the other guy. So, what do you think, Brody, would be the main things you'd want to have on a website?
Well, I guess a website is effectively like a digital resume that you would portray to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it really depends on the sort of profession that you're pushing, I guess, and your interests and who you're trying to connect with. But if we're talking about music-related things, then I would think that if you're a music business operator, you might want to have some background about yourself, what you do, snippets of your work, maybe links to other sites or other works that you've done or people that you are affiliated with. Look, that's a starting point. I mean, look, there's a lot you can put on it. It is pretty subjective. I mean, it really just has to meet your actual business demands.
Yeah.
And the demands of the consumers that you are pushing to.
Facebook links and things like that. Facebook is good social proof, and if you can prove to every visitor that visits your site that you have a large following and they feel comfortable by being on your website because hundreds or thousands or millions have been there already, that have liked, you know, not even just being on your site, that like your business. So that's called social proof. The social proof is really important, and that's why you see Facebook feeds where it has, you know, your friend likes this also, and that probably wouldn't have shown up on your feed unless they've liked it. So that having some kind of plugin, which is quite easy to do with WordPress, is to have something simple like, you know, how many likes you've got, or even having your internal forums going on, just having a display and having a blog. And there's a lot to talk about when it comes to websites, and there's videos and videos and videos of what to do, what not to do. But I can tell you now, there's not many videos that tell you how cheap it actually is, or how cheap it could be. So, yeah, it's interesting. It frustrates me that You know, I know that this person that quoted me $7,000 to build a website, she works for a larger organisation and they've got credibility behind them. But they're losing their credibility by not testing what. So you're building one right now using the WordPress, exactly. So WordPress is pretty cool, but there's a lot of pain associated with learning for some people because it's not what they want to do. I'm a musician. Why should I learn how to build a website? It's not my job. I just want to play drums. Sorry, I said musician. I just want to play guitar. but why do they want to play guitar? So they can share some music with the world. There's no better way of doing that through this thing called the World Wide Web.
It would seem that being successful and being very singular in your approach to things doesn't really work. Doesn't go hand in hand. You need to actually expand your thought process, expand your knowledge base so that you can cover all of the issues that are required. Unless, of course, you know all these people who can do this for you.
Yeah, that's right. And you pull in some favours. So someone asked a question here. What's your name? Kyle. So our website, we buy our websites through TPP Wholesaler. It's a Sydney-based company here in Australia, and we host our stuff with Linode in London. Linode cost us, I think, $40 or $39 or whatever it is a month, and we've got about 40 websites listed or hosted with them, and we don't even hit 2% of our quota. It hasn't been down in years. They're always upgrading their stuff, and they transfer from one server to another to make sure our stuff is working well. So that's how we do it. And I'm not an IT expert. I have someone that I can say, hey, this is not quite right. This website is down. And there's also a thing. Where's my phone? Oh, I'm talking about it. There's a thing I just downloaded, which is very handy. It's free. I think it's free for forever. Let me just get my computer up here and I'll tell you. It's called Uptime Doctor. Uptime is one word. Uptime Doctor. I'd suggest you check that out. It checks all of our websites, or it checks one of our websites, which sits on a server with all the other ones. So if one goes down, it's fair to say they're all down. So it checks one of our websites every 5 seconds, 24/7. The second it goes down, I'll get a push notification and an email. And when you set up this process, the process of Uptime Doctor, in the message that it sends you, you can put a link in there that takes you directly to. In my case, I'll get a message to say, hey, your server is down. Click this link to restore, and it's simply a reboot. It takes me to a page, and I'll reboot my server, which majority of the time will fix it. Control-Alt-Delete. Call center, have you tried rebooting? 9 times out of 10, that'll fix the problem. So yeah, Uptime Doctor is a pretty cool thing, and I'm pretty sure it's free. I haven't paid anything for it, and I think it might be free for like 1 to 5 pages. But of course, they've got your data, and you give your email address, so they might make some money on that. That's capital, and I'm fine with that. Happy to give them my email address for some spam somewhere else if they give me a free service that's beneficial to me. If you wanted different websites, or to create a rule that if it went down, it would reboot by itself. That's the sort of thing that you want to automate stuff. Have you got anything to add?
Well, I was thinking before in regards to paying people to make sites for you. Mm-hmm. Look, you could probably liken that to hiring a maid to come over and clean your house. Now, why would you do that? Is it because you're lazy? Is it because you can?
You can. You value your time. Yeah,
you got the money.
Just on that, like we're selling a house that we're in right now, and I think the cooling off period is like 5 hours from now, so fingers crossed. We're going to go to a smaller house. So we'll have some spare cash, and that spare cash is going to come with a cleaner, and it's probably going to come with a cook. So we'll have a smaller house. We hate cleaning. My partner and I, it's not that we don't hate it, we just don't have time for it, and it's not a priority in our lives. We have other things to do. And I know that other people run their livelihoods based on cleaning other people's houses. Happy to pay someone $30 an hour to come and clean your house for me.
And the odds are they probably do a pretty good job. You know
They,
what I mean?
yeah, they're professional out there, and they want to do a good job. So once again, paying someone to build a website, and you can engage if you haven't heard of something called Upwork or Odesk or Elance. Those three platforms are now combined into one, which is called Upwork. You can find anything you need on there. I've got a team of people that work for us here in Adelaide, a couple in Melbourne, a couple in Sydney, one in Queensland, and about 4 overseas. A couple in America. I managed to find a guy that's currently working for Disney Pixar to create an animation that we put as a stinger in the front of our videos. And that didn't cost me very much at all. He did it on the side. He was moonlighting for Disney. But it's really cool to say that we've got a Disney Pixar animation as part of our out of our business branding, which is awesome. The question that someone asked just before was, do I have to grant any permission for Uptime Doctor? Depending how far you go. All you need to do is tell Uptime Doctor to look at this URL. That is it. It just continually looks at your website. It doesn't go in to do anything. It's not a plugin. It doesn't upset anything that goes on. It just tells you when it's not up. Just like, I don't know if you can see all these all these posters here of these people, amazing, beautiful performers. We run a program called ETO Activate, which activates musicians. And part of that program is we give them websites. We build them. We teach them how to manage and monitor it. While all the CDs were getting sold and tickets were getting sold for their CD launch, it went down. The 6 people in this program, 2 people rang me straight away and said, I can't get to my website. People are trying to get on to buy tickets. What's going on? So that was my Uptime Doctor right then. It was someone calling me. But with Uptime Doctor, I'll know within 5 seconds if the website is up or down. And you can opt in for having daily reports. It's telling me that, I'm looking at it now, I'm not sure what that means. It said there was one outage, so I'm not sure what that meant. It hasn't been down. I haven't received any messages, so and it's free. So I'm not going to ring up and say I'm spending my money. I want to know what's going on. I just want to know when it's down. And if it goes down, I can fix it with a couple of presses of a button because I know how to do that. Otherwise, I'd be on the phone to someone. Cool. Check out Uptime Doctor. I don't own that company. I don't have any shares, so it's unbiased, and it's just something that I found accidentally while looking to. We've just run a national survey for music educators here in Australia. The one problem with SurveyMonkey, it doesn't have push notifications every time a survey is lodged. It has an end-of-day email, but it doesn't give you. And I wanted to just keep track of what happened when it happens, because we were sending out notifications to about 500 music education professionals in one hit, and I wanted to see the instant response that I was getting from those messages on what day, so I can keep track and A and B it compared to different days, different times, and different wording in the text.
Do you want to give people an indication of your response rate, perhaps?
Yeah. So is it still up here? Let me bring that up. We've kind of gone off the track a little bit here. SurveyMonkey. So the data we're trying to collect for the music education industry here in Australia, which is a $15 million a week industry, is to help us value the music education industry, because there's actually nothing governing that. There's 500,000 lessons happening every single week in Australia, and no one is managing the effectiveness or the quality or the safeness of it. Most of these lessons are with kids between the age of 10 to 18. So I've had 94 responses in total, which is okay. Our responses via Facebook post have been not as good as I would have liked. But just for market research, on Monday, I don't know what time that was, I think that was Monday evening, I put one out and I got 14 responses within that day and maybe a couple the next day. And I've also done one on a Friday and I got 13 responses pretty quick, and that was done late in the evening. I remember doing that one. And I did one today at lunchtime.
14 again.
That was, so 14 responses pretty much between 12 o'clock today and 7 o'clock now. So, and earlier on, I started the campaign on the 9th of November. and that was just through Facebook stuff. So I've had much more success sending it directly to people's phones through an earlier mail campaign. All right, so yeah, it's interesting to see that people are responding. But the thing is, part of the response gets people to my website. Once again, it's built that platform that people can go on, and I'm not trying to hide who I am with the responses. It's to help better the deployment of a platform called ETI Access. So this is giving us the right information we need to make it better for the people who need it. Simple as that. So by going through the survey, you get to have you get to see why we're doing it. You get a link to our website. We're upfront. We're not trying to hide from anyone. We believe we're on a path of evolution when it comes to music education. And the fact of the matter is that someone might need a good window front or a good shop front for their music teaching business, but probably can't afford it. So the reason for this is this particular Periscope, or which is now going to be a YouTube clip, is because you don't have to spend a lot of money to make it happen. You can get it done pretty quick. And this is Brody's first time Periscope. I've talked about it a bit, so he's fresh on it. So you've got an iPhone?
I do.
You do, all right. I think it works on most phones anyway. Or the other option is Meerkat, and I want to start doing a bit of both. I'll probably do both at the same time because in the world we live in, we have two phones. So thanks for listening. We had quite a few viewers. Some come, some left. At the moment, there's none. But that doesn't mean, so this is information for Brody, at the moment, no one's watching. But in 24 hours, within 24 hours, there might be other people that watch it. But I'm going to make this available forever because, that I don't need to hide what I'm showing. Some people on Periscope probably do. I've seen some accidental taps and I'm like, oh, shut that down. All right, so thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much.
Brody, you need to check out etiaccess.com. There's a whole heap of cool things coming, and I've got a 21 video program coming out very soon, which takes a big, deeper step into a lot of the things that upset and annoy music educators primarily, but small business operators. So check that out. So if you're on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. Ciao.